Aniruddha Garkar. I've had the pleasure of working with Aniruddha over the past year now, and Ani is a second-year Master's in Telecommunications student. And it's been a pleasure to get through. Hello. And work with you over the past year. And Ani has really been the architect of success for this team. He has an engineer's brain. He is so analytical and problem-solving oriented, but I've really seen him transform over the past year the way he leads people, the way he really creates a community in teams. And so I will let him introduce his team to you, and VetiCool.
Thanks for the introduction, Taylor. So this semester, our team was tasked with the Social Innovation Clean Sheet project. What this meant for us was, in 16 weeks, we had to identify a social problem, come up with a workable prototype, come up with a business plan to actually take this to the market. It's not been easy. But the team has really taken on this challenge and has helped in defining criteria for identifying problems, done brainstorming in coming up with issues, and been really innovative in coming up with solutions. So as we were brainstorming in one of our sessions, we came up with the idea of high energy consumption. I won't be talking about the solution, that's what they will be doing. So that's when we identified that the social problem that we would address this semester was high energy consumption. So our mentor, Winston, was greatly instrumental in actually coming up with this idea, because he challenged the team to critically think and really think of making them realize that, no, you guys are real entrepreneurs and you have to think like real entrepreneurs. So that said, we also have our CCEW staff, Jeff, Val, and a lot of other staff, especially Taylor. I mean, I cannot imagine doing this project without her guidance. I mean, whether she was in town, out of town, in person, over Skype, this project would not have been possible without her guidance. In addition, Helena, she was an immense resource, especially she literally hand-held us in the process of agile product development and just lean methodology and telling us all about it. So, coming back to my team, it has been a pleasure and a wonderful experience just working with all of them. I mean, and they are a really high-performing team, and it's not because they deliver at the last minute and just before the deadline, but I mean, Jeff was mentioning about the Sooner Launchpad competition. Our team has come up with a whole new concept of a new venture in just 2 hours of work. That's phenomenal. We also managed to win the second prize at this competition. So VetiCool is not the only idea that we have come up with this semester. So that said, let me hand it over to my team, who will talk more about the magic of VetiCool.
The United States makes up just 4.5% of the population of the entire world. However, we are responsible for 28% of the carbon emissions going into the atmosphere. That's equal in environmental impact to the deforestation of 168 million acres of land annually. That's about the size of Japan. Hi, I'm Lauren McKinney, and I'm a multidisciplinary studies senior.
I'm Vishal Gadia, second-year graduate telecommunications student.
Kira Guntur, a second-year TCOM graduate student.
And together, we are the co-founders and the inventors of VetiCool. Our team leader is Aniruddha Garkar, who is a graduate telecommunications engineering student, and our mentor is Winston Peraza, Chief Creative Officer at Cubic Creative. So one of the major contributors to the carbon emissions problem is our high rate of electricity consumption. And in the home, the #1 consumer of electricity is your air conditioner. In fact, air conditioning accounts for over 25% of all residential electricity use. And this leads to a couple of issues. The first one is the high cost. Collectively, we spend about $15 billion year just on running our AC, which for each household breaks down to about $300 a year. In addition to a high financial cost, there's also a high environmental cost. We're releasing about 195 million tons of CO2 into the atmosphere just by running our AC, or about 1 ton per house. The solution that we created to address this problem is VetiCool. VetiCool is a $30 attachment that goes onto a regular 20-inch box fan. It's made out of all-natural vetiver roots. Vetiver roots have been used for centuries in India to cool homes. When vetiver roots are soaked with water and air moves through them, an evaporative cooling effect is created. So VetiCool basically transforms a standard box fan into an evaporative cooler. Now this is great because it uses 90% less electricity than a window AC unit. VetiCool only costs about $15 a year to run for a household as opposed to $300 for a window unit. Additionally, it uses about 90% less carbon emissions as well. So you're looking at about 1/10 of a ton per household as opposed to a full ton from a window unit. Now, understanding that VetiCool could work with any type of fan, we decided to analyze the fan market. And we think it could adapt to ceiling fans or stand fans or even small fans. But we chose to focus on the box fan industry because the box fan industry is worth about $200 million and 5.5 million box fans are sold each year in the U.S. The average box fan has a lifespan of about 10 years, so we estimate that there are about 55 million box fans being used currently in American homes. In addition to regular box fan purchasers, we think VetiCool is also a great choice for highly environmentally conscious consumers. Marketers like to talk about green customers in two groups. The light green customers, who are easily moved by packaging and they're buying a similar product to what they might already buy, and the dark green customers. These are the individuals who are highly sensitive to environmental issues and they're taking active steps in their lifestyle to reduce their environmental impact. We think that because our product is so energy efficient and it's made of 80% biodegradable materials, it's a great choice for the dark green consumer. Now that you understand the box fan industry and the dark green consumer, my teammate Vishal will walk you through how VetiCool actually works and our product design process.
As Doreen mentioned, VetiCool is an attachment which works in conjunction with a box fan. At the heart of VetiCool lie vetiver roots. Our invention harnesses the natural power of the vetiver roots to cool the surrounding. Vetiver roots is a grass with dense and long root system. Its wiry and fibrous roots can retain 20% more water than any other plants. This grass is typically found in tropical and subtropical regions, and in the United States we know vetiver farms exist in Hawaii, Louisiana and Florida. At these places typically it is used for largely cultivated for preventing soil erosion. We have identified some of the commercial suppliers of vetiver roots. As Lauren mentioned, VetiCool is traditionally used, vetiver woven mats, the roots woven mats or blinds are traditionally used in India for cooling. Vetiver mats are hanged in patios in the homes like my family's and sprinkled with water to keep out the intense heat. I have personally experienced its cooling effect and trust me, it really works. So, along with as vetiver itself belongs to the aromatic grass family, it has a cooling effect associated with a refreshing aroma, which itself acts as the repellent for many insects. The oil extracted from the vetiver roots is used in 90% of the perfumes. I can talk to you all day about different applications using different properties of the vetiver roots, but today our focus is its cooling effect. So, vetiver uses evaporative cooling mechanism. It's a natural science similar to when our body perspires to cool down. The formula for cooling is vetiver roots, air, and water. So when the roots are sprinkled with water and in presence of mild breeze, they try to convert this water into vapor. So we have developed a prototype, we have developed our first prototype to prove the initial effectiveness of the VetiCool. Our prototype uses vetiver roots encased in a fiberglass screen, a simple box fan to circulate the air, and a water reservoir to continuously soak the roots. We did both product testing and consumer testing to prove the effectiveness of our first prototype. So on the product side, we are so excited to tell you that VetiCool has dropped 4 degrees of temperature of a standard size room. In addition to that, as we started begin testing, we have already made few changes to improve the effectiveness of the cooling, the length of the cooling. And these tests will continue to happen in future to improve the effectiveness of the VetiCool. The changes include the position of the attachment behind the fan, which increase the cooling to 20 minutes rather than 15 minutes cooling when we keep it in front of the fan. And we have determined the optimum density of the roof that goes into the attachment to have a great cooling effect. So as we are satisfied with the product testing, we asked around 20 potential consumers to have first-hand experience of the VetiCool cooling. Each and every person we asked have perceived significant amount of cooling using VetiCool. Then we asked them to compare VetiCool with just a fan. They preferred VetiCool over just a fan. Out of total people we asked, 80% of the consumers suggested us to have an automatic room soaking mechanism instead of manually sprinkling the water on the roofs. So while we are completing the testing and developing a robust prototype, we identified some of the other one-room cooling solutions. We found there are energy-efficient misting fans, which comes with very fine nozzle to reduce the size of the water droplets. There are cool humidifiers, which increases the humidity of the room and additionally has a cooling effect. And there are window air conditioners, which are common. So VetiCool is an attachment which works in conjunction with a box fan. Our product has a double bottom line. It is not only economically sustainable, but also socially responsible. It has a competitive cost of $30, and to run VetiCool for an entire year, it costs only $15. So we believe it has least cost of ownership as compared to other products. With the regular use, VetiCool attachment can last for 2 summers. And as it is made up of plant material, 80% of its components are biodegradable as compared to other solutions which are made up of plastic and non-degradable materials. If we calculate only summer use, VetiCool can save around 1,600 pounds of carbon emission each home, each summer. So, although we are still developing a robust product to launch into the energy efficient market, we are confident that VetiCool has a potential to impress eco-friendly consumers. Let me now hand it over to Nikita, who shall explain our approach to reach these consumers and financial viability of our business model.
Now that we have seen the technology behind VetiCool, let me chalk out the business model that we designed to reach the market. We decided that we will divide the distribution model into 2 phases. Phase 1 will deal with agile methodology of product development. This means we will have product iterations based on the consumer feedback. The second phase deals with scaling up the distribution. In phase 1, we will manufacture the VetiCool units ourselves. Few of these units will be shipped out to eco-bloggers. Not only will they help us in providing feedback, they will promote the sales of VetiCool through VetiCool.com. The other channel that we decided to adopt to scale our market and to establish the base is by actively and aggressively marketing VetiCool. We want to set up pop-up stores and attend conferences to come in direct contact with the consumers. This will strengthen our ties because they are in direct contact with the creators of VetiCool and they can make a difference. Now that we have established a base, the next question is, where are we going to get the supply of vetiver roots? We spoke to 10 different vetiver experts from 6 different nations all across the world. And we decided that Hawaii supplier was the perfect person to supply us with roots. The other products and protocols that goes into the vetiver will help us develop VetiCool. We decided that we are going to ship the other products locally. Now that we have set phase 1, we will transition to phase 2. We spoke to different entrepreneurs or startup businesses and we decided to make an impact, we will start small and take effective steps. We will identify local manufacturers and outsource the robust prototype that we developed in phase 1 and distribute the model. We will scale the distribution, reaching out to third-party websites that will endorse and promote VetiCool.com and also identify local retailers who will help us distribute the product. With that said, let me chalk out the financial distribution. Since we're going to start small, we need an initial investment of just $32,000. This will include product development, marketing, and the supply. As we transition into year one, we will use the local retailers to distribute our model. This will mark the transition from phase 1 to phase 2, and we believe that over a period of 5 years, we will make a total profit of $200,000 with a return on investment that is 6 times the initial investment. With that said, we have 4 major milestones to reach before we have strategic scaling. The first is product development. In order to have a shelf-ready product, we have filed a disclosure with the university, that is the Office of Technology and Development, and we will work with them to look at the patentability of the technology. And also, to develop a product, we need iterations, and we are depending on the consumer for it. So we will get the consumer feedback based on our aggressive marketing. This will include us attending conferences, setting up pop-up stores, and reaching out to eco-bloggers. Apart from bootstrapping part of the initial investment ourselves, we are looking at funding opportunities which include competitions, pitch competitions, innovative competitions, and attending conferences. We are also looking at grants, like federal grants, by the Department of Energy and EPA. Once this is set, the final step and the most crucial step is to identify the local manufacturers and retailers who not only share our objectives, but have the value towards the environment. Let me hand it over to Lauren, who will summarize the evolution of VetiCool.
As you can see, we're very excited about the future of VetiCool. We believe we have the perfect solution for consumers who are looking for an energy-efficient and natural way to cool off their home. In fact, at the conclusion of tonight's presentations, we would like to invite all of you to visit us at our VetiCool Experience Station in Founders Hall so you can feel the cooling for yourself. Thank you. Before we take question and answers, we'd like to take a moment just to throw out a few thank yous. We want to thank all of you, of course, for being here for our presentation. And additionally, we want to thank our mentor, Winston, who really taught us a lot about creative problem solving this semester and was a wonderful resource. We want to thank the entire CCEW staff, especially Taylor and Jeff and Val. And of course, we want to thank our team leader, Aniruddha, who was our guide every day of the semester. And with that, I think we're ready to accept questions. Yes.
Do you think there's a part of the country or a particular city in the U.S. that would be first best place to try this out? A place that's a little more green conscious than others?
I think that Tulsa is a great place to start because we have high heat and we are experiencing a little growth in the green market segment. The dark gray consumers are growing at a rate of about 7% a year, so it's moving pretty quickly. And we think Tulsa is just a wonderful place for us to get involved and share VetiCool with our friends and family.
I have a follow-up question to that. That you attended Sunday afternoon at Guthrie Green, where there is, I think, a lot of very eco-friendly people.
That's a great idea. We'll have to be there with
I
us.
think you could sell out.
What's the comparison of how this functions in comparison to what you small swamp?
The swamp coolers particularly use the different cooling pads which are made out of sponge and some aspen pads. And as this material, VetiCool, is totally natural and made out of roots and has a refreshing aroma along with the cooling effect. So over a period of time, swamp coolers do, like they turned out to be like, mold and many things come up, like they need to be replaced, and it's a lot way different than VetiCool, because it's fan cooler, you have a lot of adjustments to and VetiCool is like you have to use it a couple of times, 2 summers it will work, and as it's made of natural plant material, it's safe and non-inflammable, non-toxic, so it's safe to use that stuff. The technology-wise it is same, the principle is same, but it's way better than.
Is there a difference though in the ability, how well you can cool or natural thing about it?
We did test it and researched it that it can cool by 4 degrees, and then, but the people that we asked have perceived like more than that. They are perceived like 10 degrees of drop in temperature. Like. So we believe that it has a potential, and with more testing and more iterating the product, it can go well.
Yeah.
I understand as you were working through the process that you found it might have an application in animal food, and I wondered if you had followed up on that or if you had anything to add about it.
That's a very good question. We did actually follow up, and like Lauren mentioned, there's a lot of potential for VetiCool. But we decided to start with box fans, but it will definitely expand to animal shelters or animal market.
How quickly can these come off the production line?
As we don't want to scale very soon, because we want to be strong in our base. So that's why we're doing the phase 1. Once we are sure of the robust prototype, as per the consumer, then we will start scaling up. In fact, we were planning to start aggressively marketing right now.
I want to next.
Great.
How reliable is the supply of the vetiver plant, and does it go through swings in weather, and how reliable is the production?
Based on our research, we have identified many areas from where we can get the supply, but Hawaii is the best right now because it's cost effective, and apart from that, for the plant, it lasts through any extreme temperatures. So there's no problem with getting the supply whenever we want to.
How much water does it take to saturate the root for your prototype, and how long does it take to become saturated?
How much water? So we tested with a bottle of 1 liter water, which lasts for around, you can say, 1 hour. And so it's once we sprinkle the water on the roots with the reservoir, then it like stays for around 20 to 25 minutes. Then automatically we have to sprinkle the water again. So in one go it stays for 25 minutes, and then for an entire day, we estimate it would take around a gallon or a couple of gallons to run.
My secretary and I have about a 20-degree difference in the temperature that we like to set up. So if there are any data, that'd be great. The question is there competition out there for other units, other modalities that are cooling that are also very
We think that the box fan itself, our product works in conjunction with it, but in a way it's also our competition. But we just want to position ourselves as a product that transforms a box fan into more than just a fan. And we have a pretty novel technology, and no one is using vetiver roots as a fan attachment that we have.
So I've got to see it, and it's not real pretty. Is there any way to make it look better?
Yes, because of the time frame, it doesn't look exactly pretty, but it's pretty. But we will make a sleek model as we iterate the process.